October 14th, 1066. The fate of England hangs on a narrow ridge. Thousands of men stand shoulder to shoulder behind a wall of shields. Below them, an invading army gathers. Archers tighten bowstrings. Cavalrymen grip their lances. Infantry sharpen blades that will soon be slick with blood. By sunset, one king will be dead. Another will claim a throne, and England will never be the same again. But this story doesn't begin on the battlefield. It begins with a promise that may never have been made, a promise that would trigger one of the most famous invasions in history and force three ambitious leaders into a deadly race for a crown, because before Hastings became a battle, it was a succession crisis, and succession crises have a way of turning kingdoms into graveyards. January 1066. King Edward the Confessor is dying. For more than 20 years, Edward has ruled England, but there is one problem. He has no children, no obvious successor, no clear plan. And when a king dies without an heir, power doesn't disappear. It becomes a prize every ambitious man wants to claim. Several powerful figures immediately see opportunity. The strongest candidate is Harold Godwinson. Harold isn't royal by blood, but he is the most powerful nobleman in England. Rich, experienced, respected, a veteran commander, a politician, a survivor. He effectively runs much of the kingdom already. When Edward dies on January 5th, Harold moves fast. Very fast. The next day, he is crowned King of England. It is a decisive move, and strategically it makes sense. Vacuums of power are dangerous. The longer the throne sits empty, the more likely rivals emerge. Harold understands this. Speed matters. Legitimacy matters. Momentum matters. But there is a problem. Across the English Channel, another man is furious because he believes the throne belongs to him. William, Duke of Normandy. And William is not the type of man who lets opportunities slip away. William's story is remarkable. Born the illegitimate son of a duke, he spends much of his youth fighting simply to survive. Assassinations, rebellions, civil wars. Every challenge hardens him. Every victory teaches him. By 1066, William is one of Europe's most formidable rulers. He commands loyal knights, experienced soldiers, a wealthy duchy, and most importantly, an iron will. William claims Edward promised him the English throne years earlier. He also claims Harold personally swore an oath supporting that claim. Whether either story is completely true remains debated, but for William, the details almost don't matter. What matters is that he now possesses a justification, a narrative, a reason to invade. And in medieval politics, narratives matter. Wars aren't fought solely with swords, they're fought with legitimacy. William needs nobles, church leaders, and warriors to support his campaign. A simple land grab is risky. A righteous claim? That's easier to sell. So William begins building something extraordinary. An invasion force, not a raid, not a limited expedition, a full-scale conquest army. And assembling such a force is harder than it sounds, because crossing the Channel is only the beginning. Winning is another matter entirely. Invading England is a logistical nightmare. William must gather ships, thousands of soldiers, thousands of horses, weapons, food, supplies. Everything must move across water. One storm can destroy everything. One delay can ruin the campaign. Yet William pushes forward relentlessly. Shipbuilders work around the clock. Knights arrive from across France. Mercenaries join the cause. Adventurers seeking glory gather under Norman banners. The force grows larger and larger. But there is still a major obstacle: the English navy. And Harold Godwinson knows it. Harold expects William to invade, so he positions troops along England's southern coast. The strategy is straightforward. Watch the Channel, block the landing, destroy the invasion before it gains a foothold. It's a reasonable plan, maybe even the correct plan, but it has a weakness: time. Maintaining a massive army is expensive. Men need food, farmers need to harvest crops. Troops cannot stand on alert forever, and nature begins working against Harold. William's fleet is trapped by unfavourable winds. Days become weeks, weeks become months. Nothing happens. The invasion never comes. At least, not yet. And slowly pressure builds on Harold. How long can he keep his army mobilized? How long before the kingdom starts bleeding resources? How long before soldiers simply need to go home? Then another threat appears. One Harold never wanted to see. A threat from the north. While William waits across the Channel, another claimant makes his move. One of the most feared warriors in Europe, a veteran of countless battles, a man whose reputation borders on legend. Some historians call him the last great Viking king. And now he wants England. Hardrada forms an alliance with Harold Godwinson's estranged brother, Tostig. Together they launch an invasion. Not in the south, in the north. It's a brilliant strategic decision. Harold's defences face Normandy, not Norway. Suddenly, England faces a two-front crisis. Exactly the scenario Harold hoped to avoid. The Norwegian army lands successfully. English forces rush to stop them. At the Battle of Fulford, Hardrada wins. The road opens. The invasion gains momentum. News reaches King Harold, and he faces a critical decision. Remain in the south waiting for William, or march north and destroy Hardrada. Neither option is safe. If he ignores Hardrada, the north may collapse. If he marches north, William could invade while England's main army is absent. Harold chooses action. He marches fast, very fast, nearly 200 miles in just days. It is one of the most impressive military movements of the era, and it sets the stage for a stunning victory. September 25th, Stamford Bridge. The Norwegian army expects negotiations, not battle. Many warriors have left armour behind. The day seems calm. Then English forces appear. Harold has arrived, and he has arrived sooner than anyone thought possible. Surprise is one of the most powerful weapons in warfare. Harold now possesses it. The battle becomes brutal, close range, chaotic, personal. Axes crash into shields, spears break. Men die in heaps. The Norwegians fight fiercely, but surprise and preparation matter. Hardrada is killed. Tostig is killed. The invasion collapses. It is a tremendous English victory. Strategically, Harold has achieved exactly what he needed. A dangerous rival is eliminated. The north is secured. His reputation grows. His army is victorious. Yet hidden within this success lies disaster. Because victories have costs. Men are exhausted, units are depleted, supplies are consumed. And while Harold celebrates Stamford Bridge, a messenger arrives with shocking news. William has finally crossed the Channel. The invasion has begun. September 28th. William lands at Pevensey. The moment Harold feared for months has finally arrived. And remarkably, William lands largely unopposed. This changes everything. The most dangerous phase of the invasion is over. The sea no longer protects England. Now William has a foothold, and footholds become beachheads. Beachheads become campaigns. Campaigns become conquests. William immediately begins fortifying positions. He builds defences, secures supply lines, establishes operational bases. This is classic military thinking. Never assume victory, never outrun logistics, never give the enemy easy opportunities. Meanwhile, Harold faces a dilemma. Should he wait, rebuild his forces, gather reinforcements, or attack immediately? Historians have debated this decision for centuries because this choice may have determined the fate of England. Harold decides to march south immediately. At first glance, the decision seems reckless. His army is tired. Some troops are wounded, others are missing. Additional reinforcements could have strengthened his position. So why move? Because waiting carries risks too. Every day William remains in England, his position improves. More supplies arrive, more intelligence is gathered, more territory is secured. Momentum begins shifting. Harold likely believes speed is essential. Catch William before he consolidates. Force battle quickly. End the invasion decisively. It's the same logic that helped him defeat Hardrada. Aggression, tempo, pressure. But warfare punishes assumptions. What worked against one opponent may fail against another. And William is a very different opponent. Harold marches south. The armies move toward collision. The final confrontation approaches. Neither side fully understands what the next day will bring. But both know one thing: England cannot have two kings. October 13th. Darkness settles over southern England. Two armies prepare for war. On the English side, many soldiers are experienced housecarls. professional warriors, elite troops armed with devastating two-handed axes. Alongside them stand members of the Fyrd, local militia, brave men, but not always battle-hardened veterans. The English army is strong on foot, strong defensively, strong in close combat. But it lacks one critical element: large-scale cavalry. William's army is different, more flexible, more diverse: archers, infantry, mounted knights, combined arms. Each component supports the others. This flexibility will matter enormously. Throughout military history, armies capable of adapting often outperform armies built around a single strength. By dawn, both commanders have made their decisions. Neither can turn back. The battle is coming, and one battlefield feature may determine everything: a ridge. October 14th. The English arrive first. Harold positions his army atop Senlac Ridge. It is an excellent defensive position. High ground provides advantages. Attackers must climb uphill. Formations become disrupted. Fatigue increases. Momentum slows. The English create a shield wall, one of history's most formidable defensive formations. Rows of overlapping shields, dense ranks, disciplined warriors, an armoured barrier of wood, iron and determination. For William, the situation is difficult. He must attack. The burden falls on the invader. Harold only needs to hold, and so the battle begins. Norman archers fire first. Arrows rain upward, but many shots are ineffective. The angle is poor. The shield wall absorbs punishment. Then infantry advances. The Normans climb the slope and are thrown back. Again and again. The English line holds. The plan is working. William's army suffers. Casualties mount. Confusion spreads. At one point, parts of the Norman force begin retreating. Panic erupts. Rumours race through the battlefield. William is dead. The invasion has failed. Everything is collapsing. For a brief moment, England stands on the edge of victory. Then William does something remarkable. Leadership often matters most during crisis. Not during success. Not during planning. During collapse. William rides among his troops. He removes his helmet, shows his face, shouts that he is alive, orders men back into formation, restores confidence, rallies the army. This moment is crucial. Many battles are lost psychologically before they are lost physically. If William's army breaks completely, the invasion ends right here. Instead, discipline returns. The Normans continue fighting. And then something unexpected happens. Some English soldiers leave the shield wall. They pursue retreating Normans downhill. At first, this seems reasonable. A fleeing enemy is vulnerable. Destroy him. Finish the battle. But discipline wins battles, and losing discipline often loses them. The English formation begins fragmenting. Gaps appear. Cohesion weakens. William notices. Immediately, a great commander recognizes opportunity and exploits it without hesitation. Norman cavalry turns, counterattacks. The pursuing English troops are isolated, cut down, destroyed. A mistake has become a disaster. And William learns something valuable. The shield wall can be broken, not through brute force, through manipulation. As the day continues, William adjusts. This is where strategic brilliance becomes visible. Instead of endlessly smashing against the strongest part of Harold's defense, William begins creating opportunities. Some Norman withdrawals may have been genuine, others may have become deliberate, feigned retreats. A classic tactic: appear to run. Lure opponents forward, destroy them when formation breaks. Whether every retreat was planned remains debated. What matters is the effect. Sections of the English line repeatedly lose cohesion. Every gap matters. Every lost veteran matters. Every dead housecarl weakens the wall. Hour after hour, the battle continues. Exhaustion spreads, arms grow heavy, shields splinter. The English remain dangerous, but they are no longer as solid as they were at dawn. William's combined arms army keeps applying pressure. Archers, infantry, cavalry, different tools, different angles, constant stress. This flexibility is becoming decisive. Harold's army has one primary strength: the shield wall. William possesses options, and options are often the difference between survival and defeat. Then comes the battle's final turning point. Late afternoon, the English line is weakening, not collapsing, but weakening. And then Harold disappears from history. Exactly how remains uncertain. Legend tells of an arrow striking his eye. The famous image appears in the Bayeux Tapestry. But historians continue debating the details. Perhaps an arrow, perhaps cavalry, perhaps infantry, perhaps multiple wounds. What matters strategically isn't how he died, it's that he died. Kings were more than commanders. They were anchors, symbols, centers of gravity. When Harold falls, the English army loses more than a leader. It loses cohesion, purpose, direction, confidence. The chain reaction begins immediately. Resistance continues. Fierce fighting erupts around Harold's position. His bodyguards reportedly battle to the end, but momentum has shifted permanently. The shield wall finally breaks. The army fragments. Retreat becomes rout. The Battle of Hastings is over. William has won. England has lost. And 1,000 years of history have changed course. This is where the story becomes fascinating. Because Hastings was not inevitable. Several decisions could have altered everything. What if Harold had remained in the south? Hardrada might have caused damage, but William could have faced a fresh, fully prepared English army. What if Harold waited after Stamford Bridge, rested his forces, gathered reinforcements, forced William deeper inland? What if English troops had maintained discipline and never pursued? The shield wall might have remained intact. What if William's army had broken during the morning panic? The invasion ends. Norman ambitions sink into the Channel. History follows an entirely different path. Battles are often remembered as destiny. In reality, they are collections of choices. Good decisions, bad decisions. Lucky moments, unlucky moments. At Hastings, dozens of tiny moments combined into one monumental result, and the consequences would echo for centuries. Winning Hastings did not instantly make William king. England was not fully conquered in a single day, but the battle shattered organised resistance. The psychological impact was enormous. The kingdom's strongest army had been defeated, its king was dead, its leadership decapitated. William advanced methodically, town after town submitted, resistance weakened. Eventually, he was crowned King of England on Christmas Day 1066. The victory transformed everything. Norman nobles replaced much of the English elite. Castles spread across the landscape. Military organisation evolved. The language changed. Law changed. Government changed. England itself changed. All because one army held a ridge and another refused to quit. The Battle of Hastings is remembered as a clash between two men, Harold Godwinson, William of Normandy, but in reality it was a contest of strategy, tempo versus preparation, defence versus flexibility, momentum versus endurance. Harold won a brilliant victory at Stamford Bridge, yet that victory may have helped exhaust the very army he needed at Hastings. William faced setbacks that would have broken many commanders, yet he adapted, improvised, recovered, and exploited every opportunity. The battle lasted only a day. Its consequences lasted a millennium. Because on that October afternoon in 1066, as the shield wall finally cracked and the Norman banners pushed forward, England entered a new age, and the world that emerged would never look the same again. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, subscribe for more videos on empires, wars, mysteries, and forgotten civilizations.